Nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day.
No, Pooh, that's not the... Oh, never mind.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jay Pooch is back. This is Jay at the Movies. I know last week we weren't here. We took a week off. I happened to be out of the city in Punta Cana to be exact. So we're getting back to our regularly scheduled program, and we are giving you the last episode of Jay at the Movies of the year, to be surprisingly honest. Wow, it's come fast. 2018 has really been a blast. Not only has it been a blast, but it has flown by. I remember thinking to myself not long ago, Jesus, it's January 2018. This is going to be a long year. My goodness, was it the complete opposite. This year went by fast. This year we learned so many new things, and I hope everyone else who's watching this, you also learned a lot of new stuff throughout the year. Improved your mind, improved your way you feel, improved your health, improved your pockets, the money, your wealth, and etc. I hope this was a prosperous year for all. If not, that's too bad. Anyways, we're here to discuss movies. If you haven't noticed, there's a movie that's standing out in the background right over here to my right, or maybe in your case it might be to your left. We're talking about Winnie the Pooh, Disney's Winnie the Pooh. Now, no, I'm not reviewing. This is a cassette. For those of you who don't know what a cassette is, this is a tape. For all you millennials and those who have Blu-rays and maybe grew up on DVDs and stuff, this is what a tape looked like. You would rewind this and then, well, this was never really remote. This is actually the right, but you would rewind this and then restart it, and there was no skipping of chapters. You had to rewind and stuff. But this is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about Winnie the Pooh and his on Valentine's Day or in Valentine's Day. We're talking about a movie that does require and does inspire Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin. This film came out in 2018, and many people's cases, it may have flown out of under the radar. Basically, Christopher Robin was saying goodbye to his toys and going on about his life and moving on into a new direction and growing up as a child. You know, sometimes you gotta grow up and you don't bring your toys with you. As most of us know who are growing up, and for those of you who are watching this that are still young, there will come a time where either your stuffed animal, your wrestlers, or your G.I. Joes, or your toys, Power Rangers, whatever it is, or even your Paw Patrol, whatever it is the kids are playing these days, you're gonna have to put that away and put that aside. I'm sorry to take that away from you, just like when you were told the Easter Bunny doesn't exist. But these types of things do occur as you grow up. So the film I'm talking about, like I said, it is not Goodbye Christopher Robin, it is Christopher Robin. The film released by Disney this year. This film is the complete opposite, if I could start off like this by saying this, it's the complete opposite of what Winnie the Pooh stands for. See, this film right here, the Winnie the Pooh Valentine's Day film, is all about happiness and joy and friendship. And there is a little bit of sadness in terms of, like, maybe one guy didn't get his Valentine's Day card and he feels as though it's not truly a Valentine's Day for him due to the fact that he didn't get anything. But here's the thing, what's always made Winnie the Pooh, and what has made this franchise so successful and interesting and something to watch, was the fact that it always brought joy to your life. You always, regardless of whatever age you were, you always were having a good time, and it reminded you of the good times you had as a kid. You see, what the film Christopher Robin does is it takes some of that into consideration. At the beginning, you get to see a young Christopher Robin hanging out with his toys, Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, the guy Eeyore, yeah, he's hanging with the whole group. At that point, it sounded like I didn't watch the movie, but I did, sorry, I forgot all their names. He's hanging with them, having some tea, they're talking, they're having a good time, but then it settles in that you realize that this is actually the Last Supper kind of feel. You see, they're all having a goodbye party for Christopher Robin. He's going away to boarding school. He's not going to be able to play with his toys no more. He's got to leave them behind. And what happens when he leaves them behind? He leaves them behind in this forest where now he can no longer go to visit, or if he finds the free time, he may go to visit them, but that's not 100% certain. The way this film feels is that it's very reminiscent of Toy Story 2, where Andy leaves his toys behind because he's moving on to school, and he's giving some away to his sister, some are going away to a shelter that he doesn't need no more, they're going away to needy kids that need some toys. So the film is very reminiscent of that, except with the exception that these toys are not going anywhere. They're just going to continue living their lives in the forest, and whenever Christopher Robin needs them, he knows where to find them. It's just in the back of this old cabin. He goes into the tree and then there he is. You see, what the film did that was very interesting is that it leaves you wondering, but it doesn't really leave you wondering because it answers that question quite quickly in informing you that these toys can be seen by the outside world. And this was something that had me intrigued in the early goings of this film, because in the early goings, you're not quite sure if it's just Christopher Robin that's able to speak with these toys, if it's all in his imagination where he's having fun with these toys, and it's what we did as a kid where we would play with them. But then as the film progresses, we tend to learn that these toys are actually alive, and once they come out of the forest and they come into the real world, they can actually interact with individuals, or so we're led to believe. See, the opposite side of the story that I came to understand, and I saw that there was this theme that was underlying, is that the fact that growing up could sometimes be tedious. It could sometimes be stressful. Growing up can sometimes remind you of the fact that you're never truly prepared to grow up. There's an idea that you have as a child of what growing up looks like. You're like, oh, I got the freedom to do whatever I want. I could buy whatever I want. I could talk to whoever I want. I could go out whenever I want. There's no time limit on this. There's no budget on that. But you see, as you start to grow up, all of this starts to become a facade. A reality hits in. Now you've got to go to work. Now you've got to go to school. Now you've got to earn a living and a job because you've got bills to pay, taxes to pay. I know it's starting to get a little bit depressing, but this is exactly what this film presents to you. It presents to you it presents to you an older Christopher Robin, played by Ewan McGregor. What a fantastic actor. He does a great job with the role of playing an older Christopher Robin. And it presents to you Christopher Robin in a role that you never thought you would see him in. One in which he is a worker, he has a very successful job, he is one of the higher ups in his position, where he gets to work in the management position, and he's stressed at work, he's constantly working the late hours, the late nights, he's barely seeing his family, he's barely spending any time with his daughter and playing with her, and he's even brought this theme and this mindset that he has where work, get your work done. He's brought this onto his daughter, where she doesn't even fully comprehend how to play and how to have fun. To the point where the mother tells the daughter, listen, I want you to go out and have some fun. You've done enough work. And the daughter responds, I'm going to go out there and have the best fun possible. She says this in a competitive manner. So it just goes to show you that she was brought up in a world where now all of a sudden the dad has taken this joy that he had, this Christopher Robin that we remember from these films, where he's having a good time with his toys, with the bear, with Pooh, with everybody, Tigger, and they're having these adventures. And he's taken all of that and he's erased it from his mind, and now he's solely focused on constant work, on constant getting the job done, because he understands what the real world is like now. But he's taken the most important part out of the equation, and that is the ability to allow yourself to have a good time. You see, the world can get you down, the world can put you into a dark place where you start to forget and you start to leave people behind. And you start to lose your friends and your family. And that is when it truly hits you. And you've got a choice to make. Either you can accept the fact that the world is never going to be just, or you can improve upon that and change your mindset and find the time and the space to make what's important matter. To make what's important have the time that you could spend the time to do. In the case of Christopher Robin, he slowly gets to, as the film unravels, which is a good probably hour and 10 minutes of just Christopher Robin dealing with Pooh, Tigger, and Eeyore, and telling them, guys, I need to get back to work, I need to get back to work. That young, loving Christopher Robin that we remember, he's not in this film. He's there early on for at least 10 minutes, but the rest of that is a good hour, 10, where it's just this old Christopher Robin wanted to get back to work, and he's unhappy with his friends. He's unhappy that they're trying to get him to enjoy himself, and they're there as a metaphor to remind you, remember when you used to do this, and how come you don't do that? And they would question each and every single one of his actions as if to say, listen, there's no reason why you can't be having a good time. There's no reason why you can't be staring out, and one of the situations and one of the scenes, why you can't be staring out the window of the train and just calling out the stupid things you see. Tree, branch, I don't know what that is, and just having fun with your own imagination. There's absolutely no reason why we in society, and this stays true to it at the end of the day, why we cannot find the time to have a good time while we're at work, B, while we're with our family. There's a time for work and there's a time for play. We need to figure out a way to incorporate both. See, we live in a generation and a society right now where we're trying to inform the world that all you got to do is work. And that's the fault of the schooling system. They don't educate as necessary. They don't inform you, they don't prepare you for the real world. And this is what happens when Christopher Robin goes to boarding school. He's taught a certain manner, and that is hard work pays off. both aspects need to be taught for someone to grow up with the right mindset and in order to have a loving and happy family. Like, listen, you're not going to be happy if all you're doing is constantly spending the late hours working. You're going to come home to a home that's all on your own, that's all by itself, and you're just staring at four walls and maybe a television, thinking to yourself, I wish I had that. And that's what Christopher Robin presents. And you see, there's a one point in this film where I actually thought to myself that maybe Pooh, Tigger, and the rest of the gang are all just a figment of his imagination and something that he created with his own toys. And at the end of the day, it was going to help him realize, and they do help him realize, but they turn out to be actually real. Just so you know, Tigger, Pooh, and the rest of the gang are actually real, and they come out of the forest, right? They come out of the forest and they help him realize that there's a lot more in life than just working. And that is how the film ends. The film ends on that happy note, letting you know that Christopher Robin has come to an epiphany and he realizes what he's been doing and what he's been letting slide, what he's been taking for granted, and that is his family, and that is the fact that they love him, and that is the fact that his daughter wants to be with him. The daughter wants to hear these exciting adventures and stories about when he was a kid and what he used to do. His daughter wants to play with some toys. She just doesn't always want to be doing homework, and he comes to that understanding at the end of the film due to the help of his friends. And the film does end on a happy note, but you see, the thing with this film was that it was so, I don't want to say depressing, but it was so dark in tone, where you felt like even the coloring, the cinematography that it was done, the coloring of when Christopher Robin, when he's in London, it's just a dark color, it's just a sad mood. And I understand that London at times with the rain and everything, it's not the most exciting place to look at, but at the same time it fits perfectly in describing how Christopher Robin feels and how Christopher Robin is going about his life at this present time and moment. You get a good understanding and feeling of this sadness when Pooh wakes up from, I guess we can call it his hibernation. When he wakes up from having hibernated, the forest is gloomy, it's dark, there's nothing going on. He can't even find his friends, he doesn't even know where they are, they're all hidden. They're hiding due to the fact that the love and the friendship they once had for each other, the joy and the fun that they once had, it's been sucked out of each and every single one of them. Once Christopher Robin left, they just didn't know how to continue to be friends. So in a way, Christopher Robin helps them rekindle the friendship, Tigger, Pooh, Eeyore, Piglet, and everybody else, Owl, as Winnie the Pooh helps Christopher Robin remind himself of what he used to be as a child and what it means to enjoy, to play, to have some fun, and to let loose when it needs to be. With that all said, look, it's not a bad movie. It's basically a self-reflection of a film for many people who are in this situation in their life where they just feel like work is dragging them down. So a lot of people don't want to see that kind of a film, which is fully understandable. I personally think like this film did get the reviews that it deserved. It got kind of high on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and give this film a 6.5 on 10. Look, it wasn't bad, it wasn't a great, fantastic film. It was funny, it had its moments of humor, which I did find some good laughs out of it. It also did have its moments of depression, where you kind of felt like this is not the Winnie the Pooh I remember. Look how joyous he looks, look how happy Christopher Robin looks. That's sucked out of this film. And it's no fault to anybody. Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job. The voices of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, Eeyore, Owl, everyone else, majority of them were the original cast members who have been doing this for the longest time of these characters. So to see them all back in full form and sounding like they do, incredible. The animation and the work done. Look, this wasn't going to be fully CGI'd, even though it was, but everyone looked fantastic. Even Winnie the Pooh's rugged edge style, he didn't look like this happy-go-lucky bear that you see here. He looked a lot more realistic in terms of what a doll would look like if you would expect the Winnie the Pooh doll to be real. So all of that aside, that was all very, very well done. The acting was tremendous. Ewan McGregor did a phenomenal job. Haley Atwell, with the work she was given, did another phenomenal job. She's been fantastic in the role she played as Agent Carter in the Avengers franchise, so it's good to see Disney giving her some more work to do. She's a phenomenal actress, and it's always fun to see her on the big screen. This film is something that I would suggest checking out if you are a fan of Winnie the Pooh and you followed it growing up kind of thing. You watched a bit here or there. It's a different take on the entire story. It's something original. It's something a lot different than what you would expect. If you're not looking for the kind of film that might put you in a downer of a mood at times, even though it does end happy and it starts off pretty funny and it starts off happy and joyous and go lucky, then maybe this is not the film for you. There's plenty of others that you could check out from the Disney. You know Disney, they're always producing some stuff that's great. There's Wreck-It Ralph or Ralph Breaks the Internet, whatever it is, the new one that just came out. But with that said, that was my review, and that was Jay at the Movies for this week. We're talking Christopher Robin. I will see you actually next year, come to think of it. This is the last Jay at the Movies, like I said, for 2018. 2019, I've got some big things planned, and I'm very excited to share it all with you. I hope you continue to watch. I hope you continue to tune in. Hope you continue to like. As always, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe, like, leave a comment all below. My social media accounts are also down there. You will see Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Send me a message, send me a comment, send me a like, send me a follow, send me whatever you need to do. However, these social networks all work. They're all a little bit different. I'm going to respond as quickly as I can. With all of that said, plain and simple, I will see you next year. I'll see you in the future. Peace.